What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Revision 0 exotic weapon and the quest in season of the Seraph. And so the main quest for the weapon launches this week, and we'll touch briefly on that, but the main purpose of the video today is to take a look at the upgrades that we'll get access to for the weapon over time, including a handful of catalysts which will roll out in subsequent weeks, but also some extra secrets that we'll find in the upcoming exotic mission to give us an idea of how this weapon and activity will change over time. And so guys, as always, I hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, a rating down below really does help us out on the channel. But without further delay, let's get into it. And so as we mentioned, the weapon is going to be available following the reset this week. Bungie showed it off in the initial trailer for Season of the Seraph, and the exotic intrinsic perk is Hunter's Trace. The weapon fires special shield-piercing ammunition, precision hits will grant targeting data, and then through the alternate weapon action, we can swap to its alternate scope, loading high damage rounds based on the amount of targeting data, which is strong against barrier champions with shield piercing. There are actually a few different versions of this perk, and each one improves the stats of the weapon, and we can see multiple different ones because we're going to be able to upgrade it and improve it over time. On top of this though, the weapon has two basic origin traits, and that's Hake Light Burst Fire, which fires a stable burst of 4 lightweight rounds, and then there's Hake Heavy Burst Fire, which fires a less stable burst of 2 high damage and high range rounds. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the weapon performs, but in terms of acquiring it, we'll head into a new mission on the Seraph orbital facility, and this mission itself looks pretty interesting. There are a few things to know about it which we'll touch on in a moment, but inside of that mission we'll find an ancient prototype for the exotic weapon, and that will initiate an exotic quest called the Hidden Shape. And so the first step will be to complete the mission and find the prototype, and then we'll need to visit the exo frame and investigate an encrypted message. Then the other steps here include completing the arrival mission, and after that we'll need to speak with Ikora Rey at the Mars Enclave and complete the relic quest to learn its secrets. It looks like there could be a handful of additional quest steps here, as step 5 requires us to speak to Ikora at the Enclave and complete the shape extraction quest to harness the power of Deep Sight. Then we'll need to complete the Shaping Resonant Alloys quest to unlock the full power of the relic, before shaping Revision 0 and communing with the relic conduit. And so initial access to the weapon shouldn't be too complicated, but in the weeks that follow, we'll be able to create a handful of upgraded versions of the weapon with different catalysts and visuals. So the visuals include version Alpha, which we can see is a very basic version of the weapon there, and then version 1 will look slightly different, adding some additional attachments, and version Prime, which is the last version we know of, which again features a few more cosmetic upgrades. On top of that, in the weeks that follow the quest, we'll be able to refit the weapon with various different catalysts, and so we don't know the specific order that we'll get access to them, but there will be an Outlaw refit, where precision kills greatly decrease reload time, also a Frenzy refit, where each rapid kill with the weapon progressively increases reload speed for a short time, plus there's Pressurized refit to improve stability and accuracy as the magazine gets lower, and 4-timer refit, where rapidly landing precision hits will return 2 rounds to the magazine. And obviously these are using weapon perks that have existed in Destiny for a while, but it looks like access to these catalysts will happen over a period of 4 weeks, and so each of them will have a quest, should you choose to accept it, part 1 through 4. And for part 1, we'll need to travel to Europa and then decrypt the passcode cipher by completing patrols and defeating combatants on Europa. This is followed by a step where we need to locate the dead drop in the Perdition Lost sector of Cadmus Ridge and upload Cipher Barden. And these dead drops are kind of nodes that we can interact with in various different Lost sectors. But the final steps include launching the Operation Seraph Shield on Legendary difficulty and finding the weapon schematic, followed by finishing that activity to successfully obtain the catalyst. Should you choose to accept it, part 2 will have us travel to the moon, and we'll need to decrypt passcode cipher by completing patrols and defeating combatants on the moon, and then we'll need to locate and upload the cipher in the K1 Logistics Lost sector of Archer's Line, with those final 2 steps once again being to launch the mission on Legend difficulty to find the weapon schematic, and then complete the mission to obtain the catalyst. The variations of that quest for part 3 will include travelling to the EDZ, decrypting the cipher by completing patrols and killing combatants on the destination, and then locating the dead drop in the Terminus East Lost sector of Trustland. Once again, we'll need to upload the cipher there and run the mission to find the weapon schematic and complete it to obtain the catalyst. The final quest though, should you choose to accept it, part 4, will have us travelling to the Cosmodrome. Once again, we'll need to get patrols and combatants defeated. and the dead drop this time will be in the Exodus Garden 2A Lost sector. Again, we'll need to complete the mission, and then there is a final step for this last quest, to visit a weapons expert to analyze the catalysts. As far as we know, these individual quests are going to drop one per week, so we'll have options to continue upgrading the weapon into January, and it gives us a good idea of the different upgrades that we'll be able to get access to, and again the fact that we'll be doing this over a number of weeks. On top of this though, there are other secrets linked to the weapon and the quest. Initially, there are a bunch of drones. There are actually 50 of them on different destinations in the game right now. These are these kind of yellow orbs that are hanging around in different areas, and they will be destroyable with the Revision 0. There are a total of 50 of them, and it's possible the drones need to be destroyed in order to access or upgrade the catalysts. We're not 100% certain just yet, but there are a bunch on Europa, and then Heist Battleground Europa. Again, a bunch on the Moon, and the Heist Battleground on the Moon. Then there are some in the Heist Battleground Mars, and a bunch that we'll actually find in the Operation Seraph Shield mission, which is the exotic mission itself. And again, with there being 50 of them, it seems likely that they'll either be required for the catalyst, or may give more catalyst upgrade progress or something like that. There are a couple of other interesting triumphs though here as well, including Guardian's best friend, to find the mechanical dog in the Operation Seraph Shield mission, and to finally pet the mechanical dog in the Helm during the final weeks of the season. And so obviously the mechanical dog will be heading back to Helm with us at some point in the future. So kind of an interesting mixture of gameplay, the activity itself, numerous different quests, secrets in the world, and the weapon which has a handful of different upgrades, and again, that is going to be a craftable weapon. So I'm sure many of the things we do with it will be via the crafting system. And so I figured that would be interesting, guys, to take a better look at all of the stuff that we're going to be able to do with the weapon over time. And of course, I'll keep you posted when the quest itself drops. And so I hope you've enjoyed the future preview right here for the Revision 0 exotic weapon. If you have, a rating down below really does help us out on the channel. Plus, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so I can keep you posted with more content this season, and of course as we head into Lightfall. But otherwise, for now, I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
We must secure the Warsat network before it's too late. Rebuilding the war mine is now top priority.